Yeah. So thanks for catching up again, Randy. I'd like to,
Yeah,
if we could do this about once a month,
yeah.
just for the first of each month. We had a good opportunity to chat before the chat, so we kind of know what we're going to talk about. So you're not
I have
surprised
a
or
vague
anything.
idea what you're going to say. As always, I'm going to try and be in the moment and actually listen to what you say.
Okay, yeah, yeah. I won't ask it too differently, but I do want to know because I think you know what I'm going to ask you, but I don't know what you're going to tell me, so that I get to try to actively listen.
Anticipation.
Yeah. So obviously tomorrow is the culmination of our election, nearing our election process here in the U.S.
Hmm.
And as they can become contentious, there are going to be a lot of people who are going to be disappointed and a lot of people who are going to be happy. And so the question that I really want to know from you, the answer I really want to know, is from a leadership standpoint. How do we show up, and what is a great leadership message to our team and to the people that we interact with that demonstrate what I call not spiking the football, right? You have to settle people down, you have to salve them, you have to encourage them, but you want to give them a message that is like long horizon. What would you, how would you do that? What would you recommend?
First of all, this is a really, really tough question and a really rich area for reflection and discussion. As you say, uh, probably actually not tomorrow, but within the next week or two, we're going to have a winner and a loser in the national election and many of the local elections. And whether you're for the president or for the vice president, many millions of people are going to be very unhappy,
Mm.
and many millions of people are going to be very joyful. And how do you absorb that news at a time when our country is historically, I mean, just divided at a historical kind of level, and that's, I think, widely accepted and it's been widely discussed. How do you receive that news in a positive, productive way, with grace and without, as you said, spiking the football? Because that's always the first temptation,
Mm.
right? Is to sort of rub it in people's faces, take vengeance, especially when there's the level of anger that we have right now. It's again, it's been widely discussed. Friends are divided, families are divided. There's sort of verboten topics right now, which historically has not been our style or our culture as a people. And I think that there's a couple things that come to mind. One is, and I think we talked about this a little bit in one of our chats. There's this lizard brain, right? You have this thing called the amygdala hijack, and it's like that fight or flight instinct, and there's a lot of pent up fight or flight. So there's going to be a certain number of people that are just like, I can't take it anymore. I'm going to flee. Don't talk to me anymore about this stuff. I'm going to shut down. I don't want to know about it. Then there's going to be people that have been angry. They're going to I told you, and they're just going to be ready to unload on people.
Mm.
And all of that is going to be ultimately unproductive. As a country, we have a long way to go to heal this division. I do fundamentally believe in our system. As Churchill said, it's the worst form of government except for all the others.
Right.
And so there's readying yourself for that amygdala hijack and preparing a better way, like a better answer. You can literally set yourself up for what triggers you, and you can set yourself up to be gracious and gentle and kind. We can choose that path. And the more we learn about neurochemistry and how our brains work, the more we're learning that kind of choosing how you're going to feel puts you down the direction of feeling that way. So if you wake up in the morning and you're angry, or you're, you know, frustrated or whatever, you can say, I'm going to have a good day. And it sounds silly, but the whole fake it till you make it, it actually works. It actually realigns the chemical transmitters in your brain, and gives you a better possibility for a happy and a positive day. So the first thing is, as we talked about before, you've got to lead yourself. So you have to prepare yourself to not spike the ball, to not be vicious, to be gentle and kind. I think there's an old adage that withholding forgiveness is like taking a poison pill and expecting someone else to die.
Yeah.
Right? So holding on to the anger and denying yourself and others around you forgiveness is not a good place to be either. So I think you have to, as I said, be ready to be positive, to be kind, to control your instinct to spike the ball and rub it on other people's faces. And I think that for leaders, so you've gone now from the personal that we're talking about, leadership. For leaders, it comes down to basic steps, right? So one of the elements of one of the 360 tools that I use, which is called the Leadership Circle Profile, really highly values something called courageous authenticity in leaders. And a courageously authentic leader is the person that can go to the front of the room after an election tomorrow, and say, you know what, we're bruised, we're beaten up. A lot of us are feeling angry. Some of us are feeling, victimized. And so the courageous leader can name the thing. We're hurting, we're angry, we're tired, we're exhausted, we're frustrated, whatever. And say, I feel it too, I'm with you. Not papered over with the sympathy or the silver lining, but I've been there, I feel it, I'm with you, right? And then can point to the better path. So he can spin the vision, and then he can ask for people to line up with him or her behind a more positive vision, and then execute going forward. I think that whole model of authenticity is really, really what's called for. And then for the really brave, there's a next step, which is basically radical forgiveness of yourself and other people, because there's a lot of forgiving that needs to happen. So I don't know if I've spun an answer that makes a whole lot of sense. It's a big task.
I think, the big companies out there, I would imagine, like Tim Cook is going to do a video conference with his team at Apple. Mm-hmm. And he's going to have to address the company. And, that's a big company with people that are probably across the political spectrum. Yeah. And he's going to have to talk about issues that people really care about. Yeah. And so what does a Tim Cook say? What does a good leader say? What does a director at an architectural, architects tend to lean blue as creative types. So depending on which way the election goes, you could have a team that feels demoralized. And so the idea of, not spiking the football, that, man, accepting defeat is really hard. So, in the moment you hear, guys, leave it on the field. We have another game next Saturday. Practices next Tuesday. You got to kind of encourage the team to look past a stinging loss. And so, and that's what you say, but then individuals, I have to internalize it. You'll have to internalize it. So what do you do as a mental process if you feel like the other team is spiking the football? Like what mental thing do you do to kind of like, you during the retreat you would say, take a breath, you know, what will you do? What kinds of practical things? Like,
Well, this is taking a breath is always good practice. And this is an example of a moment where if your first reaction to seeing the other team spike the football is the amygdala hijack. That's why I started with that. The
yeah,
first
you played
reaction,
sports too.
I did.
I don't think you like to lose when you
I'm an
played
old
sports.
rugby player, right? So my
Right.
first instinct is to run over and tackle, and I've learned that's probably not a good idea at this stage of life.
Yeah.
So this is where it ties into also the courageous authenticity. I think you have to say, I don't think you can or should paper over something like a big loss that's coming one way or another. As I said, a big loss is coming tomorrow or next week or so, and it could involve the Supreme Court, it could involve the Congress, it could involve the state legislatures. It's gonna penetrate pretty deeply into our society. So I feel like that's where the courageous authenticity comes in, where a true leader is willing to step forward and own the truth and say, this hurts. Like we're really divided, and it's not going to serve us to further that division by celebrating our win and celebrating their loss, or vice versa, right? So it's got to be an acknowledgement of the truth first, which is the truth is we're hurting, we're divided. Then it's got to be a visioning of something higher and better. Like we're called to something higher and better than this. We have a greater aspiration. And I'm a soaring rhetoric guy. I don't mind admitting it. I do believe that we have a greater and a lesser self, and if we can bring our greater selves to the table, there's no limit to what we can accomplish. And that our history as a country is of lurching through crises and then growing and coming out better and stronger.
Yeah.
And I choose to believe that that's where we'll end up here too. That we'll figure out how to move forward. The die is cast. This is what it is, and now here's what we have to work with. So I think the really great leaders are the ones that are going to be able to bring that out of people and to really step up and name the truth. We're hurting. We can do better. We will do better. Here's how we're going to do it. Here's your role in it. Here's why your role in it matters. Let's go. Let's start. Let's rebuild.
You're sort of taking the eye off the immediate and trying to focus on the long picture, the big picture.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes you've got to reset, and I feel like that's where we are. We're in a big reset right now.
Yeah. Is there, so you're kind of talking about accepting defeat graciously, and maybe the other side of that is you want to, if somebody feels like, well, it's winning graciously as well. It's not the gloat. It's not the thing that, man, if you sting people, you said something, people remember how you made them feel. They don't remember so much what you say. So
That's right. But they will remember if you ran over them. Right? Yeah. If you're how you show up in victory is I'm gonna put my foot on your neck. That's probably a little too on the point these days to use that analogy, but if people will remember that. And I have seen in my own career, and I've seen it with many of my friends and clients, you never really know whether you're on the way up or on the way down, or who you're going to need, when you're going to need them, right? So be as kind to the doorman as you are to the president, and show up the same for everybody. Gloating has a way of coming back to bite you in the ass. It's just it's not good for you personally, in terms of your spirit or your psyche, and it's not good professionally, because you don't know when that's going to You're going to need their help, or they're going to say to somebody, yeah, but she did this to me. And, it just, we tend to live in relatively small communities, and, AEC is a big, robust space, but you guys, know each other pretty well.
Yeah, it's made of trusted relationships.
It is. And as you know, it takes a lifetime to build trust, and it
Oh, very
can
fast.
take
Yeah.
a couple of bad moments to throw it away. So
So let's be kind.
let's be kind. Why not? Be better than the alternative. Of that, I'm sure.
Is it cliche to say treat others like you would want to be treated?
My friend, that is the golden rule.
Yeah.
Whether you're, whether you're a Greek Stoic or a Muslim cleric, or it doesn't matter. That's the golden rule. That's the basis of all of it. So it's not a cliche. To me, that's fundamental.
All right, buddy. Thank
Thank
you.
you. Good to see
Chat in
you.
a couple of weeks. Good to see
Yeah,
you
look
as well.
forward to it.
All
Yeah.
right. Thanks.
Take care.